Good morning and welcome to a 50-cent tour of Thursday, March 28th, 2013. Hopefully spring is springing where you are. Please find a seat on the Liberty Bus and we will begin our tour. I had mentioned the Monsanto Protection Act a couple of times. It was signed into law. Top 10 excuses for Obama signing the Monsanto Protection Act. I guess this is really just us crying in our soup a little bit. It's kind of an amusing article, and I love John Rappaport's work, but it's just a way of, a kind of semi-humorous way of stating that this did happen. Lower your cholesterol, increase your diabetes risk by 48%. And this mostly applies to women. Statin drugs are quite bad for your health. If you go to the Dr. U channel on YouTube and look for some, just do a search for statins, you will find some videos about how dangerous statins are, and they actually dissolve your muscle tissue, which is very hard on your liver and kidneys, needless to say, because they have to secrete all that. And cholesterol is what your brain is made out of, so your body uses cholesterol to make brain tissue. So low cholesterol and Alzheimer's are probably linked. Be healthy, take walks, eat healthy food, and remember that healthcare is the #1 killer of Americans. Moody's, Cyprus euro exit risk substantial. I just want to, this Cyprus crisis is still going on, and I don't want to completely forget or ignore it. Follow the pattern. This is a very good, fairly simple article about how the Federal Reserve Bank and a few large companies, wealthy families, began the process of controlling the money, our economy. If you have friends or family who don't believe you when you tell them this, or who are confused by it, this article might be helpful. It's pretty basic, but it explains things very well. A little more depth here. Stunning facts about how the banking system really works and how it is destroying America. I don't know what's next with the global economy. There are a lot of people hoping that revaluations of currency will be a good thing, but if the same people are still in control, the web of control is still there. So it needs an overhaul, but not with the same people in charge. We'll see if BRICS is able to pull something off that's effective, or maybe something like Bitcoin, something that we do ourselves, barter systems, so on and so forth. This is a video that I did a couple of years ago. What is next, Renaissance or Dark Ages? And I included it because this video also has a brief explanation of how tightened finances and control on finances cause mankind basically to be restricted and constricted, and to shrink and to become less. And easy, broad access to some kind of currency allows for mankind to thrive. It's, the Caesars wanted to control the monetary system. They tightened the supply of money, and that triggered the Dark Ages. And this is this video is kind of a simplification, but it gets into the tally sticks, how the tally sticks allowed for economic expansion. And then in the 1600s, the Bank of England shut down tally sticks, and once again the noose began to tighten on mankind, and finances were controlled by bankers, and this is where we are today, with Cyprus bank accounts having their money just taken out because the banks want it. Do we have any rights left? No rights to privacy. FBI spy real time on emails and chats. This is what the FBI wants. They want to, as it stands right now, they're not able to do this, but they want to do that. And here's why. They chat feature in Scrabble, Gmail, Google Voice, because those communications are being used for criminal conversations. So I guess the elite play Scrabble, right? And use the chat feature because they're the criminals. We're just the people struggling to be free. China, Brazil dump the dollar for trade. This is potentially has wide repercussions. And this is, I've mentioned that BRICS, and I had the article yesterday, I think it was, that BRICS is making an effort to bypass the IMF and the International Monetary Fund and the Bank of International Settlements and get their own thing going. So that won't immediately be good for Americans, but it might be a beacon that will eventually, if it's a merit-based system, we're going to have to work again and produce things again and grow things again. But there's potential there for it to have positive impact on Americans long term. Obama bin Lyin. I popped bin Laden story coming unraveled. And this was, Alex Jones was talking about this yesterday. Evidently the Navy SEALs who know what really happened aren't becoming uncomfortable about the story, the official story, although a lot of them were killed conveniently in that helicopter crash, conveniently for those who are trying to hide the truth. And hopefully these SEALs really are men of integrity. I think if they are, they have to fight to be men of integrity. If what the Navy colonel's wife, whose information I shared a few weeks ago, is accurate, because these guys have to go through some hellish experiences in order to become Navy SEALs. But hopefully, eventually, we know that the truth will come out, because it always does. And Jesus said that whatever is whispered in a dark corner in secret will be shouted from the roof. It's a rough paraphrase, but Catholics and the question of gun ownership. With no definitive church teaching on the matter, believers fall on both sides of the issue. There are Catholics who are calling for an end to the Second Amendment. And, churches aren't really supposed to, churches and preachers should, in theory, be able to address whatever topic they want. But the 501c3, their charitable status can be yanked if they're displeasing to the government or the powers that be. So they have to keep in line with they have to preach the party line in order to not have their 501c3 yanked. This cuts to the very heart of not really having religious freedom in this country. And I think that we've kind of come to confuse our culture with our faith. And I was talking with a friend who celebrated Passover with some Ashkenazi Jews a few days ago, and I think Passover is wonderful. We don't celebrate it, we don't observe it every year, but it is, it's just beautiful symbolism, and Jesus certainly observed Passover. But the friends of my friend, they're not, they're not observing this to experience the presence of God. They're doing it out of tradition, and I'm not being critical of Jews. I think if you believe that, if you're a Zionist, if you believe that America needs to defend Israel because it's the chosen people, I hope you will read up on who really is, claiming to be Jewish now. And there's this confusion between Jewish heritage, Jewish lineage, and Jewish faith, and that it's not unique to Jews because, WASPs, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. But the real issue of worship is free will. And God has given us all free will, and we are able to use it however we want, to respond to God in love and to respond to those around us in love and service, or to live selfishly, take all we can get, and take advantage of people. We certainly can see where both of those paths lead. So just as we go through life, I think we take so much for granted, and that's what I wanted to address about the culture versus faith, and how the two become fused and then cause a little confusion, or let us feel like we can put things in our lives on autopilot that we can't really put on autopilot. The old telephone game where somebody says something and you pass it around the circle, and by the time it gets to the last person, it is seriously altered. And our minds do that. We are constantly distilling things, and sometimes in doing that we lose the essence. So if we can be aware, be conscious, be vigilant, even in requiring things of ourselves, and exercise our free will consciously, not be on autopilot. Don't mean to be too preachy. She who will walk in the dark is not a preacher, but sometimes tries to see things and sometimes manages to see things. Thank you for participating in today's tour. If you observe Passover, I think my calendar says it's Friday night. I hope that you enjoy that observation, and I hope that you do experience the presence of the Creator. The dawn is coming. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I hope that you will love one another, take care of yourselves, and insist on liberty.